If you're thinking about NYU Shanghai or are already committed, this video will save you a ton of stress. If you're new here, hi, I'm Morgan, and I am currently on a gap semester in Thailand, and I will be returning to NYU Shanghai in the fall 2025, where I will be a senior, and I'm majoring in IMB. So I did my study aways, I survived the lockdown in China, and I came to NYU Shanghai without being able to speak a single word of Chinese. So here's everything I wish someone told me before I came to NYU Shanghai. I'll split this video up into three main parts. First is campus and academics. Second is culture and social life. And then I'll finish up lastly with living and lifestyle in Shanghai. First off, classes are small, especially Chinese classes, because there's so many different classes because you are required to take that up until intermediate 2, so that's around 4 semesters, and that's a requirement to graduate at NYU Shanghai. So a lot of those classes are very small, which is good, so you get a lot of individualized attention, but also you gotta make sure you are paying attention because they'll know if you're on your phone or all that stuff. But when it comes to the main core classes such as GPS, writing as inquiry, and all that stuff, those are much larger. Especially GPS, because I think everyone has to take that freshman year, or at least most people do. Next thing is to don't slack freshman year. It was a big shift going from high school to university for me. I went from a very small school where my graduating class had less than 100 people to NYU Shanghai, which is still pretty small. I think it's 500 per class, but it was a big jump going to a foreign country, and I just wasn't focused on academics. I thought it would be just like high school where I could breeze through it, wouldn't have to study outside of classes, until I realized way too late. I think into my junior year where I was like, oh, I need to get my shit together. So first semester I finished with a 2.1 GPA. So don't be like me. Take your academics seriously, do the work you need to do outside, self-study, whatever works for you, but don't just think you'll cruise through it. So another thing is to plan your electives early about what you're going to take. What I would recommend at first is getting a lot of the core requirements out of the way. So for freshman year, I definitely have Mandarin Chinese and your required class for freshmen, which would be GPS, and the next one is writing as inquiry. So definitely take those earlier. But also make sure you take your major electives. I did not do that. I took classes I wanted to take or I thought would contribute. I didn't put too much thought into course planning. And now that I'm going into my senior year, I'm behind on credits. So I started planning for when I go back, and I looked at the academic bulletin, which I'll link down below for all different majors. You can see what the requirements are. I need 12 business electives, 12 credits from business electives, and I need 20 credits from IMA, IMB electives. And I think I have 4 credits for both of those categories right now. So let's see what happens. I know it can be confusing, so if you need help, don't hesitate to ask. And then lastly, for academics, know that all professors are not equal. They're not the same. So do your due diligence, look them up on Rate My Professors or get recommendations from upperclassmen. That is the best way to do it. They can tell you which classes are good, which professors are good, and which ones can really boost your GPA, because that is important. Now we're moving on to culture and social life. Damn, this angle makes me look really short. So before we go, you should learn the basic phrases in Chinese. Hello, thank you, no thank you, what's your WeChat? Knowing these phrases beforehand will come in handy when you need to navigate around Shanghai, set up your bank account, phone number, all that sort of stuff. And then for nightlife, come on, it's Shanghai. There's so many clubs and bars you can go to, and yes, the drinking age is 18. I know all the freshmen go crazy when they hear that. Just make sure you go with people you trust and drink responsibly, okay? I know I sound annoying saying that, but trust me, all right? For a little bit, I was into drinking and going out and clubbing and all that stuff, and I actually got blackout drunk one time, and I got this scar on my shoulder. I think it's from a beer bottle, from something. I don't really know, but be responsible. Another thing is also keep in mind that it's not NYU New York City. okay? It's not as chaotic, it's a lot more organized, and it's not nearly as big and bustling, right? In New York City, there's a new person you could meet every single day. Shanghai, not really, okay? So don't go in expecting the same thing. And the last thing about social life is about study aways. I know this is kind of academic, but it does relate to social. So let me tell you a little bit about my friend group of 3 people in total. And my friend and I met this other guy when we were sophomores, and he was a freshman. So we got along well, and we hung out for a year. We got very close. And then my other friend and I, who were both sophomores at the time, had to study away in New York City our junior year. Because most people, when they study away, they go junior year. And then we had to leave behind our other friend in Shanghai, and he's still there right now. But when my other friend and I go back and return from our study away, that friend who's still in Shanghai then leaves for his study away. And then when he comes back, my other friend and I will have already graduated. So if you are in that, I know that was a really bad explanation, I will admit. I used a lot of pronouns, but I hope that made sense. If you are friends with freshmen, pause. If you're a sophomore and you're friends with freshmen, or vice versa, that's the only time you'll see each other. Because then when one group goes to study away, the other group stays behind, and then when that study away group comes back, this group that stayed behind goes on their study away, and then these guys graduate and these guys finally come back. So you don't see each other again. It's it's kind of crazy to think about. And then for living and lifestyle, the dorms are pretty nice. Like, we recently moved to a new campus, got new dorms, so they're quite modern. They come with washing machine, dryer. Well, it's one of those that does both. I recommend not using the drying function if you can. But we have kitchen, fridge, our own bathroom inside the room, which is pretty nice. If you want to see a full in-depth tour, you can check out this video. I think it's there or there, but that is a full dorm tour. I go through the double studio, I go through premium, single, and different room types, how much they cost. So go check out that video. And another thing to note is people don't eat on campus. We have a cafeteria or a canteen, whatever you want to call it, but most people order food online. That was something that was really surprising to me, but then it made sense because I had the food at the cafeteria and it's not the best, and it's the same price if I were to order directly from a restaurant. So it's very convenient to order, and if the price is the same, why not pay more for the food that you'll like more, because you have a larger selection when you order as well. And also, Shanghai is very fast-paced. There are a few apps that you must have, and I know it can be confusing because people recommend different apps, but I'm going to tell you the list that I use and what I recommend to everyone. First, you need WeChat for connections. You'll add professors, friends, all that stuff on WeChat. You can post on it, use it for social media, but it's mainly for staying in contact with other people. Because especially if you have Instagram or Snapchat, you're used to using those apps. If you use them outside the school, it's blocked, so you need to turn on your VPN and all that stuff. So everyone just uses WeChat for communication. Then I use Alipay for paying, right? I set up my Chinese bank account. I could do a separate video on that if you want, but I connect that directly to Alipay, so when I need to pay for something at a convenience store, mall, whatever, I can just scan a QR code, pay directly from Alipay. Or if I'm ordering something online, or ordering a car, ordering food, all of that is from Alipay. You can also use WeChat, but I just prefer Alipay. And then, like I said, when you're ordering food or ordering packages, ordering food, number one pick for me is Meituan. It's the best selection. You get good discounts, and I don't know, I just prefer that one because I also order cars from there. So if I'm getting a taxi or something, there's other apps such as Didi, but I just use Meituan. I found that you can also get better cars. You get the newer EVs if you use Meituan as well. So I like those, but if you want to use the other old taxis that smell like cigarettes, I would use Didi. Up to you. And then for ordering packages, like you have Amazon in the US, there's Jintong, Taobao. I think there's other stuff. Mainly, those are the main ones I know, but I just use Taobao. That is the best one. Cheap and decent stuff that comes. I don't order too many packages, but when I do, I order from Taobao. So that is my list. Just to recap: WeChat, Alipay, Meituan, and Taobao. And then the last part for this is to just use your breaks well. Okay? Go out, travel, or relax if you need a rest day, if you've been pushing yourself too hard. But something I wish I did sooner was travel. I couldn't really travel because of COVID, so I was scared to travel, but also I didn't have any money to travel. But now that I'm going back senior year, I'm in China, my time is limited, I should explore as much as I can, and I want to encourage you guys to do the same. You're in China, it's easy to get around, right? Use the train. It's very convenient, it's affordable. I was about to say cheap, but then I just remembered that I said I couldn't afford it, so that wouldn't make sense. But it's pretty affordable, right? If you compare it to US, just go out, travel, experience new things, new foods, meet new people. That's something I wish I did sooner. But now when I go back, I'll make sure to travel more. And if you guys want to travel, maybe we could travel together. Okay, that was kind of weird. I don't know why I said it like that. And that's pretty much it. So if you're up for it, I'll see you at school. But also just be prepared for the unexpected. There's a lot to keep in mind. You're going to a foreign country, you don't speak the language. It's your first time in university, so many different things, right? But with the right mindset and preparation, you can take on anything. Things are done differently in China than how they're done in the US, so don't take that same mentality and just say, oh, these guys are weird, why do they do it like this? They should do it, just, that's how things are done. Be respectful. If you have any questions, feel free to just drop them in the comments below. I read all of them, and if you prefer to just privately message me because you don't want your stuff online, that's fine too. You can DM me on Instagram, that is also down below. But if you want to see exactly what the dorms look like, how much they cost, and all that good stuff, you can check out this video here. That's all. See you in the next one. Boop.